Hello friends, welcome back to the data structure tutorial, and today we will be discussing about doubly linked list. In the previous videos we have discussed about singly linked list and the operations on singly linked list with the implementation of insertion and deletion from the singly linked list. Now before starting to the doubly linked list, let us discuss about what is the structure of node in the doubly linked list. So in the doubly linked list we will be having three sections in the node. Like previous in the singly linked list we were having a two sections in the node, that is information and next. So next will be carrying the address of next node, but here we will be having some additional section in the node which will be storing the address of previous node. Now if we write that structure, it will looks like this. So we will be creating one class whose name is node, and we will be having three fields. So these three fields are representing this diagram. So integer info, which will be carrying our information which is of type integer. Then node next, which will store the address of next node, and another field is previous, which will be storing the address of previous node. And now suppose we want to create a new node. How will you will be creating? You will be creating simply like this by creating an object of node class. Now here in this example I have created a node temp. So temp is an object which we have created of the node. Then this new keyword will be allocating the memory. How much memory is equals to the data member of that class node. So how many data members are there? 3. So whenever you will be getting a memory for temp, you will be getting a 3 sections. Why 3 sections? Because you have declared the structure of a node with 3 variables. So one is info, another one is previous, and another one is next one. And now suppose you want to store the data, you will be simply writing inside the temp there is a information section. You will be putting your data there. So whatever data is integer type, you will be storing in the information section. And in the next field of temporary and the previous field of temporary, you will be writing null because you are just creating a new node. So it's an independent node which you have created, and this node will have a certain address 500. So this is how you can write the structure of a node and you can create the node. It's a very similar to the simply linked list, and the only thing is you have added these two lines. Now let us understand what is doubly linked list. So here I have displayed some blocks, empty blocks with 3 sections. So it represents the node of doubly linked list. Let's say this block is having address 500, this block is having address 600, and this block is having address 200. I am taking the any random addresses because it's a dynamic memory allocation. So if this node is my starting point whose address is 500, and I have certain data, suppose 55, 77, and 22. This is our data. And before this starting point, means before the 500 address, there is no node. So I'll be writing null here in the previous field. So we cannot go back in the previous because there is a null address. But after 500 I want to go to the 600. So simply you will be writing here 600. So this is your next field which is pointing to the new node whose address is 600. Okay, now if you come to the address 600, it will having again the two sections, previous and next, and one information where you have stored the information 77. But if you write here 500, so what it means, this node whose address is 600 can go back to the node whose address is how much, 500, which is this one. Same way here if I write 200, so it is connected to the new node, and if I write 600 here, so it is pointing to the previous node. And again after 200 there is a no node, so we will be writing null here. So you can see that it is traversing in one direction and it is also traversing in a reverse direction as well. So that's why it is called as doubly linked list. You can go to 55 to 77, 77 to 22, and same from 22 to 77 and 77 to 55. So if you want to create a doubly linked list, so you need to follow some steps. So first step is to create a new node, and to create a new node we know that we need a structure of a node and this 4 lines of code to create a new node. And then we will be checking one condition, that whether the existing list is available or not. If the existing list is available, then The new node which you have created, that will be your starting point, because you will be having only one node. And if you have an existing list, let's say this example having an existing list of 3 nodes, then you will be having a choice if you want to insert that node at the beginning of the list, or if you want to insert that node at the end of the list, or if you want to insert that node somewhere in the middle of the list. So we will be discussing all these 3 types in the next video.